Welcome back to Make More Love. In this show, we share real strategies that help high-performing men build passionate, intimate relationships and live fulfilling lives. If you're new to the show, please don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, whatever your favorite podcast platform calls it, so you don't miss anything. I'm your host, Dorian. I'm both a relationship coach and a business coach, so I know how to handle all the crap that comes up when you're working to be the best at everything. So let's get into it. Well, Boston traffic sure seems to have reached pre-pandemic levels, which means I've had a lot more time in the car lately and more time to listen to my favorite podcasts. One of those is Trevor Noah's What Now? I was listening to his conversation with comedian Roy Wood Jr., and there was a line that really stuck with me. I never really spent time with my dad as much as I was just hanging along with him while his life was in progress. A lot of people, I think, fall into that same pattern in their relationships. And nowhere is this more true than when one of those people is a business owner. So today we're going to talk about decisions, inclusion, and priorities. How often are you reading your partner in on the decisions you make in your business? Do you include them in the choices that could affect them, or do you just make the call and expect them to roll with the punches? If it's the second one, I really get that. It's hard to keep other people in the loop when you're making business decisions. Everything moves fast. You're used to being in charge and not having to ask for anyone's permission or opinion, and quick calls are often necessary and they're highly valued. But that kind of top-down thinking does have a cost. To your relationship, certainly, and ultimately to your business. When you don't get buy-in, you get resistance. If you feel like you're not getting the support you need, this one behavior could be the root cause. Now, you might not get overt resistance from your partner. They might go along with your decisions, but that doesn't mean they're okay with them. Maybe you started out with a shared vision for the future, but that certainly can change over time. And even if everyone has the best intentions, you can still end up working toward completely different outcomes. And that brings us to the next part of this conversation, because building a stronger sense of common purpose means seeing your relationship, your business, and your life from a new perspective. In the next segment, I'll show you what I mean by that and what you'll get from doing it. Some of what I'm going to say next might rub you the wrong way. You've spent years building your business. Your whole identity is probably wrapped up in it. But there's a dark side to it as well. It will take over your whole life if you let it. You've probably heard the question, are you running your business or is your business running you? Sure, it's a cliche, but most cliches get that way because they're true. Most of us are putting everything we've got into making that business successful, and sometimes we're not even sure we've got what it takes. So we hold on for dear life and try not to screw up. But when your business is running you, it's easy to overlook the effect your decisions have on your partner's life. And that omission makes your partner feel displaced in the relationship. What I've seen over and over again is that people let a few things take priority over their relationship. The two biggest ones are their children and their business. And that is the mindset that we have to shift. Your business and your children are both important, but neither one should be running your life. Every major business decision you make, how much you work, where you travel, who you hire, how much risk you take on, has a direct effect on your partner, whether they've agreed to it or not. I don't want you thinking that you're the only one facing this. Most of the people I work with are like you. They have three main priorities: their work, their family, and their personal fulfillment. These are all equally important to them, and they all compete for the same limited resource, and that's you. Most people deal with the situation in one of two ways: juggling or herding. When you're juggling, you're trying to keep all the balls in the air. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this, but when you're juggling, you can only hold two of the balls at a time. One of them is always up in the air. And it's the same with your life. When you're constantly juggling, you're always in danger of dropping the ball. People get tired of juggling, and then they start looking for ways to take back control. And sometimes they try what I call herding. That's when you try to control all three at once. And that is like stuffing 3 cats into a bag. They immediately start fighting with each other viciously. And whenever you reach into the bag, you get clawed to death. If you have a herding mentality, you're likely trying to do everything yourself. You micromanage, overschedule, overcommit, and push yourself to the limit. And every slip up that you make lets loose some kind of chaos. Neither one of these approaches works, and the main reason is that they rely on you being the sole responsible person. So what about you? Are you struggling to keep all the balls in the air, or are you the one left holding the bag? And if I could show you a better way to handle this, would you want to know how? We're going to continue this conversation right after this message. A lot of you've been asking what happens when you work with me. Let me break that down for you. We don't just sit around talking, and I don't just dish out advice. I work from a place of logic and strategies and solutions because I believe the same strategies that solve business problems can be applied to relationships. So you and I will team up to get a clear picture of what's really going on in your relationship. Then we'll pinpoint the top priorities to work on. We lay out a strategic plan to target the things that will actually make a difference. And then I'm right there with you, supporting you as circumstances change and helping you stay focused on what's important. You'll get out of the rut and create the passionate partnership you crave. So if you're stuck in a loveless limbo, why would you want to stay there? Your first step out is easy. Set up a relationship reset call with me. It's free, it's quick, just 15 minutes, just you and me. You'll bring me up to speed. I'll let you know if I think I can help. And if not, I'll tell you that too. Let's be honest. If you let your relationship fall apart, the cost to your financial, social, and emotional well-being is ginormous. So let's not let that happen. Head over to relationshipresetcall.com and let's get you back on track. And we're back. Before the break, I asked if I could show you a better way to handle this. Would you want to know how? Okay, here's a better way. Make your relationship the structure that holds your life together. There was a sale on analogies this week, so I loaded up. Let's use another one. An airplane. Your relationship is the plane. And in the cockpit, there are 2 seats, one for you and one for your partner. Everything else, your business, your kids, your extended families, your hobbies, your other commitments, are the passengers. Sure, they're important, but they belong in the cabin, not the cockpit. You can't let your business fly the plane. You can't let your kids fly the plane. In fact, I know I'm going to take some heat for saying this, but I do not believe that your kids should always come first, because kids, business, intimacy, all of it are best served inside a strong, healthy, passionate partnership with clear priorities and a solid framework. That's when it all starts to come together. You and your partner no longer operating from different plans, working together, maintaining the headings, checking the instruments, managing the contingencies. Once you start seeing your business in this context, it gets a lot easier to know which decisions your partner needs to be part of. Let's talk specifically about what it means to have your partner as a co-pilot of your business. It doesn't mean you're turning your romantic partner into your business partner. It means you're giving them a clear, consistent way to stay informed and involved in the decisions that matter to their lives without slowing you down or dragging them into the details. So how do you turn all this into something actionable? The simplest way to do that is to build it into your regular routine. And that's what we're going to talk about next. Here are 3 best practices to help you keep your partnership in sync. Number 1 is hold a weekly business review meeting. Once a week, sit down together for a short business review meeting. The focus is simple. You talk about the decisions and priorities in your business that touch your shared life. The goal is to have better communication, coordination, and show mutual respect. So here's a sample agenda for that. The first topic is what's happened since the last meeting. Share key updates, what went well, what didn't, any wins, and any lessons learned. This helps your partner get a sense of what you really do in your work. You think they know, they think they know, but I promise you they don't. So sharing this is going to make that a lot clearer. The second thing to talk about is what's coming up next. This is a quick heads up about projects or commitments that could affect your time, focus, or energy in the near future. It's about visibility before decisions get locked in. And the third topic is what needs to be discussed and decided together. These are the choices that touch your shared life, anything with real impact outside the business. And then the fourth thing is a quick look ahead. Ask each other what matters most to you this week and why, what matters most to me this week and why, and what goal are you focused on next. Now, even if you've touched on these things during the week, take 10 minutes to recap them in this meeting, because how many times have you or your partner said, I never heard that, or you didn't tell me that? That's because we're all busy, preoccupied, and distracted most of the time. We may not hear fully, remember correctly, or take the time to think everything through when they first come up. Also, aim for this meeting to be enjoyable. These meetings might use a business structure, but they're not business meetings. They're about buy-in, partnership, and connection. So include something pleasurable. Coffee on a Saturday morning, wine on the porch, pancakes on Sunday. Call it whatever you want, happy hour, pancake party, Tuesday night, but make it fun. The second best practice is establishing tiered decision-making categories. I like to use green, yellow, and red zones, and they let you know when you can move forward, when you need to check in, and when you really need to stop and decide together. Green zone decisions are when you keep your partner in the loop. They're everyday decisions that don't really impact your shared life, but it's just respectful to keep your partner informed. A quick update is enough, like the job ran long, I'll be home late, I had lunch with a client today. Small updates like that demonstrate transparency and build trust. Yellow zone decisions are when you give your partner a heads up and a chance to weigh in if necessary. These are situations when you're making a call or circumstances have made it for you and you want your partner to know that something's coming. The goal is to minimize surprises and maximize respect. Don't confuse it with asking for permission. It's sharing information. Sometimes your partner will see something that you didn't, something that requires some problem solving, which you can then do together. So it might go like this. A client just asked me to take on this weekend job. I'm planning to do that. Would that cause any problems? And if so, can we find a workaround for that? If there's a serious conflict with any of your upcoming plans, you can then problem solve together, and sometimes that means saying no to work commitments, so be ready and open for that. The red zone category is decisions that require due diligence. These are the ones that can reshape your life. Smart business owners do due diligence before they jump into anything that big, and that includes getting buy-in from your partner. In fact, when you've got a big decision to make, taking the time to lay out all the details for them might shed some light on some of the things for you too. So it's very beneficial to take that time. All right, the third best practice is nailing down the red zone topics. The most important aspect of any of these best practices is knowing when to deploy them. And the red zone topics obviously have the highest stakes. That's why you don't move forward until you and your partner have discussed them. That won't mean you always agree on them, but you will have the knowledge that everyone is well informed. When I work with my VIP clients, we identify 10 types of business decisions that almost always belong in the red zone. I'm not going to go through all 10 here, but I'm going to share the top 3 categories: money, time, and people. Money first. Anytime a shared resource is at risk, it's a red zone issue. If you're taking on new debt, signing a lease or a contract, offering a personal guarantee, or changing how you pay yourself or your compensation, even if that's technically a business decision, the impact extends to your relationship. And therefore, your partner needs to be included in the decision-making process. The second one is time. Anything that significantly changes your availability, focus, or energy deserves a full discussion. When you're taking on a major new project, expanding the business, increasing your travel, all of these will change the rhythm of your life together and will need to be compensated for, usually by your partner. So they really should be in on the discussion. And the third one that I mentioned is people. Who you work with, who you bring into your professional world matters more than most business owners realize. Hiring or firing key team members, bringing on an investor, or forming a partnership all affect your stress level, your time, and how you show up in your relationship. Any significant arrangement that you make with other people will affect that relationship and your personal vitality. So it merits a discussion. If you're looking for a place to start collaborating more with your partner, this is it. Treat any decision involving money, time, or people as a red zone topic, and you'll be ahead of the game. So those are the top 3 of the 10 red zone topics I share with my VIP clients. And everybody's list might look a little bit different, but the goal is the same, to know exactly when you need to stop and talk and decide together. As we close out today's session, here are 3 key points I hope you'll take away from today's episode. Number 1, your relationship isn't just another priority like your business constantly competing for your attention. Instead, it should be the context in which your business, your family, your fulfillment, all of it exists. Not everyone is cut out for this level of discipline and openness. That's one reason the divorce rate for entrepreneurs sits above 60%. Number 2, your partner needs to be an important voice in your business. That doesn't mean they need to work in it, but then again, neither should you. You should be working on your business, not in it. Make these shifts and you'll see improvement across the board. And number 3, when you try to keep everything in your life under control all by yourself, you're not going to make it. Something's going to crash, guaranteed. And when it does, it's going to take everything else down with it, because life as an entrepreneur is all dominoes. And now we get to my closing thoughts. As I've said before, I don't believe in work-life balance. I believe in integration. What we've talked about today is a playbook for that, for real work-life integration. Now it's up to you to put that into action. Make that one mindset shift. Whether you do it on your own or you work with me, your whole life will get easier, more connected, and really a hell of a lot more fun. All right. I hope today's episode got you thinking, but you know we can only do so much in an open forum like this. If you want to look at your specific situation, book in a free relationship reset call. You can just head over to relationshipresetcall.com and pick a time. You can also join our Passionate Partners Insider community on Facebook. There's exclusive content and resources there. Or visit our website or our social channels to learn more about our programs, workshops, and private coaching options. All the links to everything I mentioned, plus my personal email, are in the show notes. I'll be here whenever you're ready. Now, I've got a quick request. I'd really appreciate your help spreading the word about Make More Love. First, if you haven't done it already, hit follow or subscribe on your favorite platform. It helps more people find the show, and it also keeps you in the loop. Second, leaving a review would mean the world. It helps us grow our community and reach more people. And finally, if you know someone who is struggling in their relationship, then share the show with them. You might just change their life. Thank you so much for spreading the word. I believe love is not something you find. You have to make it. And that's my mission, to help you make more love with your wife and in your life. I'm Ellen Dorian, and that's what I've got for you today.